So this has become a thing lately with companies with the reveals. Should I just not expect something at some event? Because first level 5 at the latest level 5 vision, they decided to put out the teaser at the end with a new Yokai Watch game in development. And now recently, with the Game Awards, Capcom comes out of nowhere with no expectations whatsoever, for me at least. Um, Monster Hunter 6 trailer. The last thing at the Game Awards. But hey, let's talk about it. Yo, what's up my fellow Dragodons? Dreadclaw here, and today we're going to be talking about Monster Hunter 6, now known as Monster Hunter Wilds. I was not expecting Capcom to drop the trailer at all at the Game Awards. I really thought they were going to be there for Monster Hunter Now, the latest Monster Hunter mobile game that was developed by the developers of Pokemon Go, or at the very least show off a new trailer for Dragon's Dogma 2. That's what I initially thought originally, since Dragon's Dogma 2 is Capcom's next big release coming out next year, and that they would rather have the main focus and spotlight on that title, especially when the first game flew under the radar during the PS3 and Xbox 360 era, when open world games weren't that big when compared to something like Skyrim and Dark Souls starting out, But, still, this is pretty nice. I imagine Dragon's Dogma 2, regardless, is going to sell extremely well, since open world games are more of a seller in the gaming market nowadays. But anyway, when it comes to that, let's talk about Monster Hunter, because I got a lot to say. I was generally very excited when I heard the news, because I ended stream a few minutes before the announcement. I just randomly browsed on my YouTube subscription feed, and then I saw the interview about Monster Hunter Wilds. I was like, what the fuck? I searched it and I saw the trailer, and I was just blown away how good the game looks. Now, people thought Monster Hunter World was a big leap for the series. This was like what you're gonna see from World, but tenfold. And can I just say, thank you for not calling it World 2 Capcom. Thank you, please, because calling it World 2 would be such a dumb name. Anyway, another thing as well to go into it, I would be lying to myself if I didn't say Monster Hunter Wilds was my favorite announcement at the Game Awards. Granted, there were some games I'm really looking forward to. That will be another video. But Monster Hunter Wilds had to be my favorite announcement. It just was a surprise. It was very unexpected. I watched the Game Awards purely for Spyro 4. I know for some that was a big disappointment that the game wasn't there. After a while, I kind of got the gist that it wasn't there at all. Which I wasn't disappointed at the very least, because Monster Hunter Wilds was that announcement. I'm like, okay, it felt like it was actually worth watching the event. Even though it kept going on fatigue with the shooter after shooter after shooter after shooter. You get my point. With Monster Hunter Wilds, for me, it's a big W. And as well, I'm going to point this out to people who don't understand this as well, with Monster Hunter Wilds being the last big announcement at the Game Awards. It speaks high volume for the franchise, because Jeff Keighley and the people behind the Game Awards could have picked any game, but no, they picked Monster Hunter Wilds because it speaks high volume for the series, since Capcom took a very niche franchise from the PS2 era, and now it's become one of their big best-selling IPs. If it wasn't for them putting all the eggs into the basket, that being Monster Hunter World, you know, who knows what would have happened to Monster Hunter. Now World being their #1 best-selling game of all time, and Monster Hunter Rise being their 2nd best-selling game of all time, which is not a bad thing, because Rise is just as good as World, even though both games have their fair share of issues, flaws. No game is any perfect. But yes. And I do believe whenever I watch the trailer again, because I have watched it a few times, even after the day after, I just can't. It just blows my mind how good the game looks. I feel with the A-Team, just the Monster Hunter teams in general, now that they have more powerful hardware, they got the technology, there's going to be no limitations, hopefully, with it being a next-gen only title, not going to be coming out for Switch, or possibly the Switch 2, whatever the heck Nintendo's going to call their next console. I'm telling you, it's going to be Switch U. Yes. Or even the PS4, the Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox One X. You know, there's going to be no limitations for it. You know, and you could definitely tell from the trailer with all the monsters appearing on the screen. They're hoping we're going to get more than just big monsters appear on the screen during quests, you know? Just by the looks of it. And I gotta say, I also really like the vibe we're getting from this. I definitely getting a Africa savannah kind of vibe with it. Especially with certain monsters that we've seen in the trailer. One of them giving me vibes of a wildebeest. And just how beautiful the environment looks after the sandstorm at the end of the trailer too. It just screams Africa to me. But there was also something with Monster Hunter Wilds that did concern me a little bit, and this has been a trend I've now been the biggest fan of, aside with a few exceptions. I'm hoping I wasn't that big on Monster Hunter Wilds, possibly going open world. And granted, this is just speculation on the community's behalf. Take it with a grain of salt, because I've always believed that not everything should be going open world. There are a few when it comes to franchises that work well with open world, and then there's some that don't really work that well with an open world setting, like, well, we all know what happened with Final Fantasy 15. Another one for me as well is Sonic Frontiers, which I thought was okay. It's a decent game, but the open world aspect for me was just a bit boring, where the boost gameplay is definitely at its best, but everything else just felt very meh as far as open world games go. But someone in the community where I definitely got a little bit of like, okay, this is whatever, if it does help out with bringing back certain monsters to the series. Monsters like Gameth, or even some of the ones you were hoping that would make a comeback, but haven't been able to yet. Because given with World, or even Rise, especially Rise, given how small and cramped the maps are in the locale, so it would be hard for bigger monsters to get through certain parts of the map. So with it being more open, this would be a welcome addition for me. I especially am confident behind the Monster Hunter team. They are competent enough to work around on something that is open world, and it gives a bunch of possibilities with the game as well. So many cool things we could see. Another thing when it comes to the gameplay aspect of Monster Hunter Wilds I find interesting is the mount. While yes, we have been seeing a lot with Gen 5, with World and Rise, where World it was more simple, just pin something on the map, the Scoutflies will lead your mount to said location, where the Palamute definitely was a more refined idea. This feels like it's definitely could be the true mount system we've been wanting, where it takes a lot of the ideas from the Palamute, but definitely more refined and more fine-tuned, especially where the mount is just so adorable. I must say that mount goes from this two-legged creature to a four-legged creature, and then it has wings, and you can see from, I'm hoping from that gameplay bit in the trailer where it's just hopping on those surfaces. I hope that's true, because that would be a really cool way to traverse certain maps. There's just so much possibility, especially with how fluid the movement is with Monster Hunter at the moment. You know? But as well, that does lead to the speculation with the mount, because we did see at the end of the trailer, there is the saddle. Folks, there is that little pocket where it shows a, well, it looks to be a bowgun. Does that mean that Monster Hunter Wilds gonna go for some kind of style in the God Eater style gameplay? Where, for people that don't know what God Eater essentially is Monster Hunter, but you fight aliens, a post-apocalyptic world. It's Wasteland. And with the gameplay in that, you generally brought with you some kind of melee weapon, a ranged weapon, and a shield. As well, the neat thing with Monster Hunter Sunbreak, I thought the follower system was kind of basically from God Eater as well. So Monster Hunter has like some ideas it's having from other franchises, and I'm just gonna say this. I find it ironic that it's called Monster Hunter Wilds when we got Wild Hearts this year from EA and Koei Tecmo. I'm just saying, it's just funny timing with that. Just saying. But it'd be interesting, because I doubt we're gonna get some kind of shield thing with this, because at best, I'm expecting maybe bring 2 different weapons with you. But as well, it does lead to the idea if maybe the mount would become like some, if it is open world, you can bring the mount, it can act like as an item box, so you don't have to keep going to your camp all the time just to load up on some items. That does lead to a possibility where it becomes a portable item box. So that'd be curious if that is the case. But if anything, I would just save all these thoughts, especially like some people that are still coping for the underwater combat to come back, because I get you with the ripples, okay, and the way that the logo appears. I feel you on that, but I would save stuff for that until summer of next year, where Capcom and the Monster Hunter team are gonna do a big info dump on the game. So I would say leave your expectations there until the summer. You know, you get these cool thoughts, but if we don't get underwater combat, you know, hopefully they'll be coming back at some point, because I definitely agree. I would want the underwater combat to come back, especially with how much fluid the movement is in Monster Hunter. It just leaves so much to desire, and they can now perfect it, you know? But yeah, that are my thoughts on Monster Hunter Wilds for now. I'm very excited. I can't wait for next year. 2025, I already have something I'm really looking forward to that's not GTA 6. Oh, I'll probably be getting it on PC. It just really depends, because I really want to upgrade my rig for this, depending on the specs. If not, you know, it'll be fine. Another thing as well, I just thought of it because it came back into my mind. Crossplay! Capcom! Give Monster Hunter Wilds crossplay. It's a thing we need. Come on, you give it to Street Fighter 6. Exo Primal has crossplay where, okay, the party system doesn't come until Season 4, which I think is still one of the most dumbest decisions. It should have been there day one. If it's not going to be there day one, they should have just, you know, not do crossplay for Exo Primal. But I'm really hoping they do crossplay for Monster Hunter Wilds. That would be a big deal for this game, considering I really thought they would do it with Monster Hunter Rise. But no, we can never get nice things with that. Oh well, but Capcom, please, you know we want the crossplay. You know there is that potential for crossplay with Monster Hunter Wilds. I mean, heck, Wild Hearts has crossplay. I don't know if Dauntless has it, but you know, they have the Epic Games money, and probably has crossplay. Even though I never will touch Dauntless. Played it once, didn't really like it. But anyway, guys, now I got everything I wanted to talk about off my shoulders. You know? Go back to the hunts, play some Monster Hunter before Monster Hunter Wilds. You know, this is gonna be hard for me, man, because Wild Hearts, Monster Hunter Wilds, you know. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments in the section below. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. What do you think of Wilds? Are you excited for it? Are you just gonna stick with Monster Hunter World like a normie? You know? Are you one of those people? But anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace